Welcome to the explainer video for Poetic Features, where we explore the beauty and artistry of each psalm. The psalmists, like all great poets, were painting with words. In other words, they didn't just write their message in plain words, but like painters, they used language to create patterns and images that bring the message to life. Compare, for example, Easter Wings by George Herbert. This poem uses the image of wings, flight, and rising from suffering. But Herbert didn't just say that. He painted it, shaping the words themselves into two sets of wings. Now look at Psalm 111. This psalm celebrates God's deeds, and each line begins with the next letter of the Hebrew alphabet, an acrostic pattern. Then from verse 3 onwards, it also follows a chiastic structure, a symmetrical design where the outer lines match, then the next inner lines between these match, forming 6 mirrored pairs around the center in verses 7 and 8. And if that wasn't intricate enough, the psalmist then adds even another symmetrical pattern, using words for time, with la'ad, forever, at the beginning, and la'ad again at the end. Then le'olam, another word for forever, and another le'olam matching between these, and then combining la'ad and le'olam right in the middle together. These are the kind of things we call poetic features. Any element of intentional design built into a text to shape and reflect the meaning of that text. This brings us to 3 ideas: feature, poetic devices, and effect. The feature is the actual concrete element of intentional design built into the text. These are usually created using poetic devices. So in the case of Easter Wings, the feature is the wing shape, and the poetic device is the word-shaping technique, sometimes called concrete poetry or shape poetry. There are many poetic devices used to create poetic features, and many features combine with multiple devices, or even innovate new devices. But some of the common devices you find in the Psalms are structural devices like the alphabet and chiastic patterns in Psalm 111, as well as repetition, inclusios, and numerical patterns. Sound devices also appear like rhyme, alliteration, wordplay, and assonance. We also have layering devices like allusion, especially to texts from the Torah, metaphor, simile, personification, symbolism, and more. So once we have a clear view of the feature, the element of intentional design, and the poetic device or devices being used, we're now ready to show the effect. The effect is the way that this feature shapes and/or reflects the meaning of the text. So in the case of Easter Wings, the wing pattern clearly reflects the central theme of wings, flight, and rising out of suffering, and brings that message into special focus. For Psalm 111, for example, the alphabet pattern gives a sense of completion, as if to say it's a complete Aleph to Tav, A to Z celebration of God's deeds. For each psalm, we select the top 3 poetic features and create a visual presentation of them, arranged across 3 tabs. A 4th tab is also included with a presentation of all the repeated roots in the psalm, which can also show poetic patterns. Let's take, for example, Psalm 19. Each poetic feature here has a visual layout of the text which highlights the feature, an explanation of the feature, and an explanation of the effect. So the first feature here in Psalm 19 is about the combined imagery of the sun and the Torah. The second feature is about the 7 times the name of God appears and how that shapes the message of the text. The third feature shows how the whole psalm uses words echoing Genesis chapter 1 to 4, from God's creation of the heavens, his commandment not to eat from the tree, through to Cain's struggle not to be overcome by sin. We hope our poetic feature resources will reveal to you the intricate, even breathtaking beauty of the Psalms and their poetic artistry. For a more detailed walkthrough of poetic features in the Psalms, you can watch a recording of our Painting with Words workshop, linked below. Further explanation can also be found in our user's guide, which also includes information about our overall method and other layers.